All right. And today's podcast, I'm going to be right here, right now with Trudt from Biohackers. How are you, honey?
I am fantastic. So happy to be here.
I'm so excited. We've been talking about this since I launched the podcast, and finally our schedules have matched. And you are from Biohackers, and you know that this is all about real women getting real results in the real world. And you've been an inspiration and a mentor and an educator for me for many, many years. I think, how many years have we known each other?
Well, daughter's about turned 17. She was at primary school, about 8 years, about 7, 8 years.
Yeah. So we're probably about 28 now, you and I.
Yeah. 7. Right.
So I would love, first of all, thank you so much for making the time today to pop on here and be on the podcast, because I think there's so many areas that we could tap into today. So let's just start. And, can you please share with everyone a little bit about your journey? Because when I first met you, it blew me away. And, coming from your background to who you are today is probably one of the most inspiring stories I've ever heard. And I just think that's worthy of being shared today. And then let's just go wherever we're going to go today. How does that sound?
That sounds perfect to me.
Yeah.
Ad lib all the way, because that's what life is about. It's about ad libs and curveballs. And so I'll give you a bit of a rundown. So I had a long history of random illnesses, autoimmune, all those sorts of things really. So I got to the point after when my girl was little where I had myalgic encephalitis, form of chronic fatigue, which it really affects the muscles. So even brushing my teeth was freaking painful.
What's it called again?
Myalgic encephalitis. I probably don't even say it right, but that's okay.
So because there might be people that can relate to that and they've been misdiagnosed, and
Oh yeah, hell yeah, a lot of that goes on. And of course, then once you have those conditions, there's side effect conditions, all those sorts of things. So there was, I had chronic candida in my system, mold, all those sort of things that all link towards. And then quite often these things get triggered by something, in my case, and in many cases, Epstein-Barr virus.
Yeah.
Way back in the day. And that stuff stays in your system. So from then on, life has to become a daily regiment. And that regimen, I didn't really get down pat till things really hit rock bottom. But because of my upbringing with I call him my biohacking granddad, there was always this emphasis there, right from when I was a little girl, on using red light and herbs and looking to natural resources.
Yeah.
I've really got to go back to that. So looked for
how old were you when that first happened, when you started finding or realizing that things weren't right? How many years ago was that?
When things really weren't right, I was 8. So yeah, been 28, 20 years ago. So yeah.
20 years ago. Yeah, 20 years ago.
Yeah. So I was a little girl when things I had actually going back, it started with a condition called syringamelia, which was a hole in the spinal cord. And looking back, and then it really looked like there was a lot of damage in my system from chemicals, what have you, and that would have been being on farmland, those sorts of things.
And a lot of people are not aware that the chemicals are having an impact on the system, right? So this is a lot of the stuff that you've done extensive research about. You've been a product of it. You understand it.
Yeah. And I've got to say, done a lot of winging it.
We have to try stuff.
Yeah. You got to try shit out, and you don't have to know everything. You just have to look towards, think, oh, okay, I need to find someone who's got better from this. What did you do? Don't reinvent the wheel. You don't have to start from scratch. Start doing a lot more of that, because when you've got these sort of things, you're too damn tired to even go through all the things. So that's where a lot of that started. And when I had a kid and I was trying to ramp things back up to get back into work again, hit rock bottom again. So got really ill. So it's like, what do we do now? We start from scratch. Started listening back to lots of podcasts and things back in the day, and followed an amazing lady called Donna Gates, one of the original biohackers, and she was doing all these podcasts and things when no one else was.
Yeah.
And I listened to her, and I was doing her 3-month program. And in her program. In the first 2 weeks, my energy went from, I'd say on a good day, my energy and functionality was at about 30% on a good freaking day. And now in 2 weeks, that 30% in 2 freaking weeks went to about 80%.
See, that's phenomenal, isn't it? Now,
Yeah.
share with us, what were some of the things that, first of all, I'd love to know, how does someone survive going through what you went through? So what's required? Like,
It's really is the little things, because I didn't have a lot of support around me because it was quite insular. So, I had the motivation of my daughter. I've got to
yeah,
be there for her. I've got to get better for her. It was just having a couple of people that were there to support and just say, keep going, you've got it in you. It was thinking back to the things my grandma used to say to me, was like, never be a victim. So I'm like, okay, I can't be every day. Like when I feel like a victim, it's like, can't be a victim to this illness. And it was things like that. And took little things as motivation. Like when my health psychologist said to me, okay, you're deteriorating, you're going to get a lot worse. You've got to be prepared for things to get bad. And that was a real...
How does somebody deal with that though? You're being diagnosed with different things, and now all of a sudden you think you're at rock bottom, right? You're already there. And then someone comes along and that doesn't really know your body, but she's reading your results and she's saying to you, things are going to get worse. I mean, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. So in that moment, you've got to make a choice. It's like, okay, I prepare to get worse or I don't.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not. I've got to look after this child, or look after myself. I have got a choice here. There must have been, all I remember thinking is there must have been people who have got better. I know these people have got better. I'm going to find them.
Well done. I really want to celebrate and acknowledge you for that, because it's really like when you're getting told by the so-called experts, and I'm not putting experts down by any means, but I firmly believe that nobody can tell you what your body is capable of other than you.
Absolutely. And at the same point, I didn't feel anger or anything at him. I was just like,
no.
Well, that was quite good. That pressed the button I needed to be pressed.
So you use that as motivation.
Yeah.
Well done. How does a woman do that? Like,
it has to be a choice, and it wasn't, and it's still not easy. When I'm saying this was a lot of years ago. It's still every single day for me. It's still every single morning getting up, especially over the last couple of years. Like lots of people almost felt like, oh shit, I'm back to, not square one, but gone right back, and I've got to do this again. I swore I wouldn't let things go, but they did digress and I did let things go. So now there's another building back process.
Yeah, so it's like a never ending up and down.
Yeah. So you've got to realize it will be a never ending up and down, and every single day there's got to be a process, and really work through what works, what doesn't. There may be a million things on your list to do that day, but there's got to be one or two things that no matter what, you've got to work out the best things you do for your brain mentally. Focus on that first. So mine is swimming. If I'm going, if I'm going down and I've got things that have to be done for everyone, it's like, well, if I crash, I'm not going to be able to do all those things. So I'm dropping all the things now and I'm going for a half-hour swim.
That's one. So this is one of your top priorities, to keep you mentally and emotionally stable and as balanced as you can.
Yeah. And to do that too, and when, people say, oh, they will have something they want to do, but there'll be obstacles in the way. Mine was, remember when I first went, I couldn't actually swim properly. I was scared to get out of the car and go into the pool in my togs, all those things. So I remember just hitting rock bottom thinking, okay, when I come out of this rock bottom phase, I want to feel like I've accomplished something. So I enrolled myself in the adult learn to swim class.
Yeah.
With the lady who the kids and the toddlers.
Yeah.
Because I wanted that sort of mentorship. And
Yes.
I'm like, okay. And that was amazing because she just opened, she became my lifeline. I met her there every week and we had a lesson. And when I was too scared to jump into the pool, she held my hand like she just saw the toddlers. And we started there. So by the end of my sessions with her, it was just like, whoa, she said, at the end of the sessions with me, I just wanted to keep my head above water. She said, you're going to do freestyle, backstroke, butterfly, and dive in the pool. I went, no, fucking not. And she went, I didn't quit. But I did. At the end of the lesson, I did that. I'm like, well, but I'm not saying that's what you have to do, but it's those things. And it's like every time I think about that now, I get a buzz and think, okay, now I remember now. I accomplished that.
So the growth that you've had, what inspires you to keep going? Because you must, like when you have those days and, operating anywhere between say 30 and 60%, like some days are better than other days, right? But what inspires you to get up every morning? Like you're a businesswoman, you are, you're practicing your own health, you're doing your own protocols, you're also giving back to other women, with your healing work. And I know, you've been to my place before and you've done Reiki on me, and it's just been magnificent, which reminds me we need to do that again. So, what inspires you to keep going on those really hard, challenging days?
I have a responsibility. So when I think back to those days and the people that have helped me and still help me along the way, they've helped me. Now my responsibility is to be present to help others, because there'll be a lot of people that need someone who's been through that deep depressions and illnesses. I need to be there and be present to help them. And I can't do that if I'm shying away or not just showing up. So there's still a lot of days where it's just everything just to show up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what would you recommend to somebody that is, when they're having those really bad days, but those days are weeks and months? Because, we've both been in a situation like that. What would you recommend to these ladies and to these guys that are out there?
First of all, if it's weeks or months and even years, not to focus on that at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Today is freaking today. No matter what. No, definitely not focus on what you haven't accomplished. And not even focus on what you can accomplish. It's just like, what am I going to do today? Even if it's one thing, if it's you may not even want to go outside, but you go outside in the garden and you mow a lawn. Man, you feel good. I know that's what I do when I'm like, I just don't want to do anything. I'll mow the lawn, something like that. Then you've done something physical. You've got outside. I forgot what the question was.
What would you say to women or men that are struggling? No, that's exactly the right answer. It's like, don't focus on the future, being present and just getting that one little thing, because I don't know about you, but for me, I tended to live in a fear mindset and scarcity mindset. And I was like fully 100%, and still today, focus on the things that I'm not doing.
Yeah, and we all do that, and we keep doing that, and that's number two, that all of us are doing it. Try and find, if you can. Sometimes it's hard. Says try and find someone to aspire to or have those real conversations with. But when you're in that space, I recognise it's not that easy. I remember people saying that to me. I'm like, if I go out there and I tried to approach that with several people, sometimes it was mums at the schools, and what would happen was actually the opposite, and that freaking hurt. And instead of being embraced, it was like, she's got things wrong, so we won't embrace her. That was the community response I got. So it's like, oh man.
So can you share some of that with us? Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have had that experience and they're not alone.
No. No. So you just keep going till you find your tribe, and no matter how long it does take. And that was hard, and it hurt for a long time. So it's still going, and that's the big bonus of what I got out of COVID. Is now my friend groups, pretty much my immediate area, are completely different, because it actually gave me an opportunity where I noticed a lot more people forcing themselves to go out and be more raw and authentic and real. So it's actually taken me up until a year ago to really find my local tribe, at 48. It's a big example I can get. I still, there was still a lot of loneliness around here. Yeah. Around me. So the people I would talk to every day, so I didn't feel alone, was people always had. It was my mum, chatted to her, my best friend up north, would have chats with her. The cats, seriously,
Yeah, some days it's like some days that isolation is worth, it's worse than having any form of diagnosis, because isolation is one of the highest things that's going to lead to any form of addiction anyway. It's just so toxic for our mental and emotional well-being, and struggling with lockdowns and mandates, etc., all of these things, right? It's like, I don't know about you, but I've coached so many clients from judgment and fear, anxieties just escalated, self-harm has escalated. Like, there's so many people that need our services right now. We can't hide, even if we're having those moments, we just can't.
No, and that's what's going to attract people. Even when we are having those moments, it's like, well, that's an opportunity to come out and go, I'm having a moment, because when else is say, well, probably 10 other people say, I'm having moments too. And there'll be other people go, oh, you're having a moment, but we don't, it's not that we don't care about them. We say, oh, okay, we'll send you off with love. You can go, sit on the bar on Ponsonby Road and have tequilas and whatever. But but you look for the people that are raw and authentic.
How do you find those people? Like, this is one of the questions I get asked all the time, is how on earth is your, like, I mean, I'm really blessed to align with some really great people. So how have you managed to do that?
There's a few different ways. Having my Biohacker meetups, which I had regularly, that really helped me. So people would come along. Finding meetup groups where you can align with people. People are women around you, near you, going along to the gym. But finding the places where those people go, because they're not going to be in bars on Ponsonby Road. Well, they'll be, the odd person will be, but you're not going to find them amongst the masses. So that is a tough one, because I struggle with that. I tried lots of things. So it really is a tough one. There's lots of lovely groups out there now too, which are really bringing people together, like Voices for Freedom. I know they're getting a lot of bad press in that at the moment, but gosh, there's some amazing women that are really finding groups women. So it's now not about all about COVID and all those things. It's actually about finding like-minded community and groups and people being authentic. And that's something New Zealand has lacked a lot of. Everyone talks about, New Zealand, the tall poppy syndrome. And there is a lot. I used to find it a lot easier to make authentic friends when I jumped on a plane and went to Los Angeles and Texas and places like that. A lot easier to just be myself and be accepted and authentic. So we do have a lot of that here in New Zealand. So if you're listening thinking, that's resonating with you, you're not going crazy. That's what that
and
is.
Why do you think that is?
We're quite isolated from the rest of the world. I think that this is just my personal view. We're so far away, and we're such a small community compared to some bigger communities. That really feeds into it. And you really see that out there. Living in the area I am now too, it's you really see that in that Ponsonby sort of area. So I don't think there is actually an easy answer to how you find those people, but you've got to start with what you've got to start. Condense the things, make it easy as possible. If you're going to have goals of fitness, health, getting in like-minded community, then popping along to Results Fitness, doing something like that has got to be your first port of call. Even if that's a really tough thing, you think, oh my gosh, there's no way I can do that. Just turning up, go in with a goal of just turning up and signing up, sitting on a bike for 5 minutes, just really break the goals down. It can even be, the first time I think I went into the pool, I did go into the pool. I basically got in and I was in that pool for 5 minutes.
And
that's okay.
It is okay, isn't it? Like, it's like those little baby steps, because it's almost like we have this unrealistic expectation that we should get from A to Z in 3 seconds, as opposed, what happened to B, C, D, like, we don't ever have love and compassion for ourselves. We're too busy thinking that we need to be Superwoman.
No, hell no, no one is. And a lot of people that are being Superwoman, we don't really know what's going on. We never know what's actually going on behind closed doors. I'm really noticing too, when I work with women, and I mean too, is that you could be working with someone and they're like, their life is really happy and they feel really happy and content, but it's because they haven't actually gone deeper to what they could be, so they're like, going to stay at this level, and it's a good place to be. I'm level content, but the people, for example, who like you and me, and the people are actually listening to this podcast, they're never going to be content here. They want to go deeper. That's like, what is everything all about? What, getting into cellular level spiritual work. And to do that sort of work, it's always going to be raw, and it's always going to hurt, and it's going to be hard. But the end goals are so much more.
So what's your biggest lesson on doing the deep dive to self? You know, like you've done so many years of personal development, and you know, you're like me, it's just, we're going to be like lifelong learners, right? We're always wanting to know more, to grow more. What's one of the biggest things that you can remember that's transformed your thinking that maybe you use today that you could share with other people?
Gosh, there is a lot, and that is a good thing. Let's use someone I use as one of my main mentors now, and examples that I've probably got the lot of, because this is someone I started following his work, and I learned all the things, for example, he talked about and done over the years, but I hadn't quite put them into practice. But when I listened to him and read him, something clicked for me. That was an opportunity presented to me by someone who said, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, read this book. It's 19 chapters, 1 chapter a week. Because I felt like I was crashing again. I went, I trust you. I'm going to do that. Because the day before, and look out for signs. That's what I say. The day before, no, it was probably a few days before, another friend in Canada was talking to me. She said, I read this book and it changed everything for me. And this was the same book this friend in New Zealand put forward to me. So that made a big difference. So every day now when I swim, one of the things I read in the book was a question I asked myself every single day, and swimming is my trigger for that. And the question is, who am I? Really standing back from myself, not who am I, the mother, the biohacker, the person with long dark hair. Who am I? Really getting point and center in that. And that was reading a book called, by my name, Michael Singer, Surrender Experiment, in his series of books. And I liked it because he really simplified it down, and he put a lot in there. So I thought, where am I going to put my focus now? And that is my daily practice. Who am I? Asking that question without looking for an answer, seeing what turns up. But I really want to put emphasis on just keeping an eye out, an ear out for coincidences, those patterns.
Is there a thing? You know, like people just ignore them, or people just think, what is that? I don't know. I sort of think about, I think of coincidences like the universe is like, hello. Like, I'm like, is that a coincidence? And I'm like, I don't think there's such a thing as, no, it's the universe going, you're not listening, girl. Wabboom. Like, and I think once I don't know if you're similar, is like, once you start understanding who you are, and like, as you say, at a cellular level, you start seeing things differently, and we start vibrating at a different frequency, and we start attracting different things. And, you know, you'll be thinking about something, and then all of a sudden, like you say, someone else will tell you about the same book. And it's like, is that a coincidence? Or is that, you know, is that an energy?
For me, that's a, you know, smack around the ears. Hello, come on, girl.
Yeah, like, how many signs do I need to give you?
Yeah, they're all here. And then that's important too, ask to be given the signs and the signals. And I'll do that sometimes. And I know I'm getting complacent. So I'm like, if I'm not listening, give me a clip around the ears, you know, so something could go wrong. It's like, oh shit, that went wrong. Okay, that's a good thing, because that's stay aware, stay present. You know, and just from doing that too, and giving over to surrender. So that's something I practice, of course, every day. Is like, okay, I'm going to surrender. So I've got lots of things going on at the moment. Like,
okay, share them with us.
Sure. Well,
yeah, what are we doing? What are we up to? What's inspiring you right now? And where do you feel drawn?
Well, tipping everything. I'm asking that question daily. Who am I? And it's throwing so much back at me, and it's turning everything.
Like, you're not an average woman, right? So we're just going to go, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really getting back to going full circle back now to where I freaking started, and embracing that. which is really diving into energy and spiritual work. So ever since I was little, had really strong spiritual experiences, shall we say, for want of a better word. But
you need to share those with us because I love that. Go on, just put it out there.
Oh my God, we're going to save some for another podcast because it gets really out there. Really.
Okay, we'll need to. Okay, note to self.
Yeah. But let's start with the smaller ones. You know, it's the things with the spiritual work, like you know, and this is something to practice when you go out there. You know, and it's, you know, you go out there and you're looking for a car park, and there's never a car park. I always get a car park.
Yeah.
You know, seeing that one, it's like, oh, when I go somewhere, I'm like, okay, I always picture the car park. You get there and the car park's full. It's like, no, that's fine. Someone will pull out in a moment. They always do. So just putting that out there before you go out somewhere. You know, I do have a little mantra, which is lucky park, you know.
I love that. I never think about Lucky Park, but I am the person, I'm like you. I'm like, what we think about, we bring about. So I need that car park.
Yeah. So on that same time too, you know, I'm still a bit of a pessimist. As my daughter reminds me, because she's such the optimist. So she's a good reminder to me. It's like, oh, okay, Mum. And I'm like, shit, I'm being pessimist. I'm like, no wonder that happened, because I keep being pessimist. So that shit keeps happening. So it's a huge work in progress for me still. Absolutely. But I look at what she brings around.
Yeah.
She gives me that reminder too, like something will happen. I'll go, oh, and she's like, what are you doing, Mum? And I'm like, oh, I'm going like, oh. She goes, why are you going? Let it go. I went, oh, let that go now. She's like, right, we've moved on.
It's beautiful that we have people around us that can call us on our bullshit, right? Because we're just human. We're just women in business. And we have moments, just like everybody else has moments. We just, I guess, take ownership of our emotional maturity and our emotional behavior and try to, touch wood, be more proactive and less reactive, because it has an impact on our health. We know that. But we still mess shit up.
Yeah. And that's part of the learning experience. We've got to expect to mess it up. That is how we learn. That's how life happens. So if there are people out there, you think, oh, they're not stuffing up their lives or shits, you know, that everything seems to go perfectly from them. Don't think, oh my God, lucky them. Think, oh no, poor them, because their soul advancement and spiritual growth is stagnant as fuck.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Stagnant as fuck. That's a new one. I call it green and growing or brown and rotting. And sometimes, like, you know, it's really nice to live in our comfort zone, isn't it? Like, it's just like, how blissful is it when nothing goes wrong and there's no growth, there's no roadblocks, there's no learning opportunities, you know? It's like, okay. And sometimes it doesn't rain, it pours, and you think, I just want to go jump back into that goldfish bowl, I call it, that comfort zone, where I don't have to be seen, I don't have to be heard, I don't have to show up. I'm just going to close the drapes and sit on my ass and watch Netflix for the next 3 years. You know, like, and I get it. I understand 100% why people do that. I really get it. There's, you know, no judgment whatsoever. I was that person for so many years, and now I'm like, I don't know about you, and I'm curious to know, actually, when will you stop learning?
When will you stop learning? You don't. You just don't. You never stop learning. You never stop growing. And the more you learn, you know, you heard it here first, second, third, whatever, is when something huge comes in and you're at rock bottom, it's just like, well, that's the universe saying to you, this is an opportunity for you to suck it up, not be the victim, as my grandma said.
Go, grandma.
And really learn something valuable for this. It's an opportunity. So those moments are gifts as much as it sucks at the time. So choose the gift or don't choose the gift, because we've asked for these things that happen to us in our lifetimes. And you know, as my daughter says, it's like, okay, well, that happens. And in that moment, you know, a lot of us will sit and worry and stress and go, oh, that happened to me. And it's like, yeah, it did happen to you. You know, and the tense there is happened. It happened.
In the past, yeah.
Now's today, and move on and just work on those little goals and not take any judgment from anyone or worry about who's judging you or not. Because that's something that's In New Zealand, that's more prevalent too, and it's not like that anywhere. So really be a role model for yourself and other women and for kids, and just really focus on our own energy. So energy work is really important. Getting out of our own way, getting out of our thoughts.
So if we're to think then, so we did the biohacking, then we did our own supplements. Like that's not an easy thing to do either.
No, not when you're just launching and a pandemic hits. So that was hard because everything I'd set up, all my marketing, everything, just to give an example, put a lot of money and effort and had to, just sign off a lot of it. Because I had to make a choice, and it's like, wow, how do I make this work? The extra energy I'd have to make this work, I've either got to do that or keep my family going and focus. So it's like, okay, well, I have to trust the universe here and just think, okay, everything financially I'm lost. I've got to trust that will come back around and keep the emotional health and focus ready. So that's why I had to take care of my own emotional health and the rest of the family, and be that model role mother and not worry about that. But now it's like, okay, well, what can I do? I could let it all go. I could relaunch. So I'm going to relaunch. I'm going to give it another bash. It scares the heck out of me at the moment. I'm quite nervous. And at the moment too, the question we went back to before was like, who do you ask to help you at the moment? I'm feeling quite stuck. Like, okay, I need a mentor again to start again because I feel stuck. So it's like, I'm not sure where to go to look for them. And there's lots of people out there with businesses, but it's that stuckness. So this is why, okay, now I'm asking them the wrong way, what I need to actually do. I'm coaching myself here where I talk to you.
But how beautiful is this, that we can have such an open, wonderful conversation where we can explore things at that deep level. It's like, actually, this is the stuff that's going on for me right now. I love how authentic and raw you're being right now. And it's like, this is what I'm going through. This is the challenge. This is the roadblock. And, I wasn't aware of it before now. And now I need to get a mentor. Now I need to chunk myself down. Now I need to come up with some options. Fucking beautiful.
Yeah. So now I need to trust the universe. Now I need to surrender and say, okay, bring me the people that I need, but but not, it shouldn't be a but there should be no buts. There's no buts.
No buts.
Really believe, not just hope and wish, believe and be present and surrender. And surrender is the most valuable thing we can do in our lives.
So what is surrendering given you? Because you're a highly ambitious woman, right? You're also dealing with physical, emotional elements. You're also a mum. You're always about helping other people and serving other people.
Yeah, that brings me a sense of peace into that. It reminds me that actually I'm not in control of any freaking thing. None of us are. We're this tiny piece of dust spinning around in the universe. Who am I to think I can control what's going to happen all around me? I can't. So I've got to surrender to that, and the universe is in charge, and let the universe be in charge. Because the more I resist, the more resistance I get back, and it doesn't go the way I want it. It doesn't go the way I want it because I was never in control or in charge in the first place.
God damn it. Doesn't it? I know, it frustrates. It's like, what I resist, I persist. And I'm like, why am I resisting? Just surrender.
Just surrender. Yeah.
So what can people expect from you, say in the next 6 to 12 months? Well, actually, what are you feeling driven to head towards right now? Who do you want to serve? And, what's your target market, or who are the people that you want to help motivate, inspire, connect with?
Help simplify things for women, because that's one of the things I've always struggled with is with my help and everything. I find a simple path to help coach and mentor and work with women using my talents that I am good at, which is probably problem solving. When I connect with spirit, channeling, talking, getting out of my own way so I can help that person connect and go on with their energy, but incorporating that, of course, with a touch of biohacking for me, because I got to the point with biohacking, I got overwhelmed. So I've got all the things, doing all the things, stripping it right back. Okay, if you could only do one thing, and that's what most of us can do any time, what would it be? You know, of course, it's got to be movement, exercise, but also supplements. So relaunching Trust with one supplement, which will be a natural vitamin.
Nice.
So you did pretty much all the ones on the market are still synthetic.
Yeah, and can you just explain a little bit about that, because people are not aware of supplements. They don't know the quality and that they haven't been tested. So, like, why have you decided to go with your own supplement range?
Because I don't trust hardly any of the ones that are out there, and the ones I have trusted over the years have sold out to a lot of companies. Then I think, well, don't trust those companies. Why would I now trust the supplements? When a lot of supplements are tested, and when I really got into developing and found out what testing was done and what wasn't done, it's like, whoa, it's a huge rabbit hole. There's a lot of stuff out there in the bottles that all of us have been buying for years that we might as well not. It can actually do more harm, or there's extras in those supplements. You know, when I was going through the process of what it took to bottle, extra fillers and that to put in, and those things quite often aren't even on the bottle. So hence the name.
How do they get away with that?
Good question. How do they get away with it?
Yeah. Are they because the way I think about that is, are they hoping, even if it is on the bottle, how many people look at a supplement range or any form of vitamin and know that you know, there's chemicals and different things that are in there? They're not going to know the name of them.
No, they don't. You're not going to know. And that's what really did my head. And it's like, oh man, I don't know. So I really had to scrutinize what supplements I took and when. And if I doubted it, even though I really need a supplement, I'm probably better off just not to have it. And problem solve, because each and every single one of us is so damn unique. Our biome is unique, and it's affected by our environment. It's affected by our age. It's affected by our stress levels. So there's not many one size fits all options, but that's what I wanted. I wanted a one size fits all option for something I knew could not possibly exist. So this is the oxymoron I was working towards. So it brought me back to, over the last few years, you know, the things that women mainly wanted was a multi-mineral supplement. But I was like, no, I don't believe in the multi-minerals, whatever. And I'm like, but actually that's what I want too. So how frigging close can I get to that? So, you know, I had to let go of the idea of the perfect product, but the most authentic one that's going to have good bang for buck and something simple to start, for women to really start with. And so they're doing one good thing for themselves. So you've got that supplement, you're doing your exercise, water. We've got to do another podcast just on water. You're drinking some good quality water.
Yeah.
And if you've got those three things down pat, then you're good. That's your basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming back to basics. And I love that you just mentioned that regardless of, you know, I'm a woman and we're the same age, we live in different environments. We have different stress factors. We have different sleeping habits. We have different habits. You know, we eat different food. We do different jobs. And all women are menopausal. They're all going through the same thing. And I'm like, actually, no. There's so many, you know, different situations out there. And, you know, with my experience in being, you know, falsely diagnosed for months on end, and, you know, and I've been really passionate about my health, and I've been a leadership of my health ever since I had a hysterectomy when I was 30. And so I started reading all about bioidentical hormones and all of those sorts of things. I would go to doctors, and the knowledge, there was no knowledge, let's be clear, right? And I'd be like, well, how do I get progesterone tested? How do I get estrogen tested? What about my testosterone? Are you going to be doing a hair sample? Are you going to be doing this? And they're like, well, we don't test that. Well, how do you know if I'm deficient in any hormones? I'm going batshit crazy, and you think it's because I'm perimenopausal. I'm like, well, what makes you say that? Well, you've had a hysterectomy now. Well, how come every bloody woman on the planet isn't going batshit crazy right now? And it started me thinking, you know, like, there has to be other options available. there has to be other things available. So I'm loving the fact that you're constantly evolving. Like you have the best practice of, I guess, behavioral flexibility for a businesswoman, because when we stay stuck, don't grow, right? So you're not a tree, get up and go. And your ego wants to design its own brand and its own product, and I've got to, I must. And now it's like, actually, what would be for the greater good, and what would actually help your energy levels? What is the best use of your time right now if you didn't have to be Superwoman?
And all those things incorporating, including budget and time. So a lot of women are not, majority aren't going to have the time or budget so it's like, how can we incorporate a supplement that would really help that, and something that's easy to take. A lot of that's the other thing that you see with a lot of the things that are out there. A lot of things that we're buying are marketing, packaging, prettiness, and what people say on it. So many misconceptions out there, and a lot of supplements out there is their levels were allowed as highly restricted. So that makes it really hard too. We can't actually get in the bottle what we need to take unless we take,
Can you give me an example of that, like of media or marketing, or what we could have, but we're actually not aware, or we don't even have access to it?
Well, it's a very simple one would say be B12.
Yeah.
New Zealand has lowered again what we're allowed to get in a supplement that's on the shelf. So to get a decent dose that would help us in a supplement, you can't buy it anymore. It's been regulated. The same with vitamin D as well. Now to get those now, where a couple of months ago you have to now go pay through the roof and get it through the doctor. But there's ways around all this stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, and people are not aware that vitamin B and vitamin D are huge contributing factors for depression, and also for cancer, and also for COVID. And, I don't know, I've got 2 people that I know that are getting vitamin B injections now because of long COVID, one here and one in Australia. And so every fortnight they're now getting vitamin B injections. And if they can't even supplement with efficient, vitamins, how much longer are they going to have to go in and get the injection?
Exactly. And it's a whole rabbit hole. So that's where with the energy work and spiritual work, I'm really diving deep into how to get around that with energy. And I'm having some bloody good results. It's really exciting. It's something I'm finding a little bit of a niche there, with something that really hasn't been delved into too much before.
So what are you loving doing with women right now?
Problems.
And when I say woman, you also woman and men. Sorry, it's just me.
Yeah, that's right. And
with people.
With people, and even animals.
Yes, even animals.
Absolutely. As my pussycat sit here with me. Sorry, what was the question again? What are you loving about working with people at the moment? And actually, when I book in my next Reiki with you, I need to actually get you to come over home. I mean, Bowen, not Reiki, Bowen. I get them confused, but Bowen I've had more results in Bowen than I have from Reiki. So I've only ever done one Reiki, and I've done probably 15. Yeah, Bowen by far. But I'm just thinking anyway, because, Dax my little boy is going through chemo. So next time not little boy, because he's put on 8 kilos and he's now 89 kilos. God bless him. I think he could do with Bowen because he's going through it right now. But anyway, let's get back to you, because, we're on a podcast and everything right now. If people wanted to come and see you, or, if people wanted to come and see you. So a couple of things. What I'm really enjoying doing with them is stepping on my way and doing work with them. So if someone, I had a lovely lady came around yesterday afternoon, and she's like, okay, what are we going to do? I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit and I'm going to listen to you, and I'm making notes, but I'm not making notes so I can put together a plan, because I'm getting the energy out there. That's my way of saying, okay, what's going on behind there? And as that helps me get out of my way to pick up from her energy, what's really going on there. And that gives me an opportunity. When I say get out of my way, I work with spirit, with energy. And that's when I get the messages and connections like, okay, this is where we need to go. So problem solving, networking, what's happening, where can we go, get really deep into the layers and help fast track it a bit, not a bit, a lot.
So who is your ideal client? So if someone's struggling with something right now, why would they come to you? Or who would come to you other than me?
Well, this lady, to give you one example, she's coming to me because she's really noticing more than ever before that she's really getting affected by electromagnetic fields, the 5G and all those sort of things. She's always been really sensitive and she was doing quite a good job of it, but now she's just gone next level. So I was like, okay, we're working on that with her.
That's amazing.
So obviously, yeah, sort of people who are feeling low, stagnant, we're working women about our age, but even younger women as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the things that are affecting women now in the sort of 40s and 50s are now starting to seem to be affecting much younger women, even teenagers.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too with it, not only in the gym, I'm seeing it with coaching clients. It's like the same issues, and autoimmune's just on the increase. The brain fog is just jumping into the menopause basket, which I think is a crock of shit as well. People aren't identifying that there's a lot of inflammation at a cellular level, right? So these are a lot of the conditions are just getting chucked into this category because we actually don't know what an autoimmune is. So you're just going to be over there and be classified as autoimmune, and Hashimoto's is on the increase, leaky gut is on the increase, like all of these things. And like you said before, Epstein-Barr virus, like, EBV, no one knew what, and even now when I have conversations with people and I ask them to go and get tested for EBV, people have never heard of it.
Wow. Okay. It's something
so maybe this is what we need to do in a couple of months, is actually have the conversation around EBV and what are some of the things or tests or symptoms that people could or should be aware of, especially as women, because I don't want to say we, because I'm probably a little bit more super sensitive about my health. So I get, tested regularly, and I have done since I was 30. So that's been 2 years now. I've just grown a little bit. But there's a lot of people out there that are struggling, and they don't need to struggle because they think that the fatigue is normal. They think that the low sex drive is normal. They think that the energy dropping and not being able to do what they once did is normal. They feel that the appetite increasing is normal. They feel like waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and not being able to say is normal. It's not.
It's not, and that's something I'm passionate about helping people with, is sleep, because I have the best freaking sleep and always have, but it's something I actively work on, and I've got a bit of a niche there that seems to work really well. Yeah. So that's something I'm passionate about, helping people with their sleep and getting that deep sleep, sleeping all night. No one needs to be getting. You can.
So if anyone is struggling with sleep, how can they? Well, if they want to touch base with you, what's the best way to get hold of you, Trudt?
Probably email.
What would that be? Because I can and I'll attach it to the notes.
So Trudy with a Y, Northcott @gmail.com at the moment. For example, we talked before, I've also got the Biohacker site, which at the moment, which is biohacker.co.nz, which you can contact me via that, or if you want to get things like brain octane and
actually. Can you just while we wrap this up, because this is like a lot of my clients, I've now started with brain octane. I've used brain octane for years and years, obviously, because that's how we met. And when I was going through chronic fatigue, I didn't know it was chronic fatigue. I was in denial, and nobody was giving me the proper diagnosis back then. One of the biggest contributing factors that helped me move forward, and I started Googling what's the best thing for brain fog, and brain octane came up, and I was like, hello, keep that on the screen actually, so that people know. And I did extensive research, and I kept reading testimonials, and I was like, this is crap. How can oil? And I was on keto at that time, so I was living quite a high fat diet. And I messaged you, and I was like, you need to tell me about this. Is this true? Because I already had CBT oil. It wasn't the same quality or the same product. And I started on this within a week. It was like, I don't know, I was like on speed or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was like the brain lifted, my brain was just going to in a really good way, and seems like, what the hell? And I hadn't connected that I no longer had brain fog.
Sorry, Urge, can you pause it? Jamie? Come in, love, and just scoot into Jolie's room. That's right.
Love
Got a teenager arrived that I'm giving a ride out to this afternoon.
Okay, so yeah, and like I'm forever grateful. And now I've had COVID this year, and also with a lot of the stuff from my liver, my brain, like I'm stuck mid-sentence, and I forgot about brain octane, and I've been back on it now for a couple of weeks. Look at me, I haven't even stuttered today. I've remembered your name and everything. So yeah, please tell me. Like, I think it's wonderful.
So it's an MCT oil. A lot of people have heard about MCT oils now, which is,
and a lot of people don't know what MCT is. So maybe just give us.
So this one in particular, the bulletproof one, which you can on biohacker.co.nz, flick me a message too, and I'll give you some, if anyone wants to buy it, and I'll give them a code. So with this one, it just comes purely from the heart of the coconut. Okay, so there's MCTs out there, and they're made up of different parts of the coconut, but this is only the really, really strong stuff that comes from the very heart, which is 6% of the coconut oil. So it means that the body can instantly turn it into energy, and it goes right to the brain. The liver doesn't even have to process it, so it's easier on the body. Straight to the brain, give it energy. So it's an easy way to cheat to get your body into burning ketones for energy, as opposed to the sugars, the carbs, all those things. So you can have this, you can have some of this, even just some people have it in your coffee, you can put it in a smoothie, you can just have it straight on a spoon, and it will help give you that fuel and energy that you need. You can easily fast when you're taking it. It's really good. I even put it around it's really good at killing molds and things as well. And
really?
So I even put it on, like if I've got a pot plant that's growing a bit of mold, I put it on that around the pot.
Do you know what I love it for is, like, in the last 3 days, like I tend not to use any moisturizers and stuff like that at the moment, like in the last year or two. So I'm using that for lip. Like my lips are chafing. So Sam's like, it's been really like, my lips, and I'm like, just go to the brain octane. Like, just that's exactly what I do. And within the next morning, it's no longer bright red at the top of my lip. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Also, it would be quite good for oral health as well.
Ah, nice. And I put it on my salad, so I'm not having bulletproof coffee as such anymore. I'm staying away from a lot of the caffeine stuff, but just purely for adrenal reason. And so I just put it on my salad every night, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's even really good for pets. Just put a tiny bit on pet food. So do that with
oh, Dex. Okay, thank you. I will.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Right.
Because you've got to be careful when you first start taking it, because if you take too much and your body's not used to it, you'll be running to the loo, and you've got to be careful with that with animals too. So just
a little bit at a time.
A little bit of time and build up.
Oh, well, thank you. We're just going to wrap that up right now. So is there any words of wisdom, or maybe actually, what's a wonderful quote or a word of wisdom that you'd like to end us on today?
Crikey, talk about.
I know, put you on the spot.
Hot spot. When everyone says say that to me, something that always comes to mind, which is not anything specifically to do this, but it's something I was told which held me steadfast, is never presume anything. Okay, and I think about that when I'm looking at supplements or doing anything in life, and it's something really important to remember. It's just like, oh yeah, you go along life and you think, oh, this supplement should do, or that should do. It's like, well, never presume anything. Get some facts, and if you're not sure, then you don't get caught by surprise if things don't work out. That and surrender. Look up with that favor and look up Michael Singer. If you just want a simple mentor and something easy to delve back into life, especially if you're feeling really low, if you're suffering from depression, anxiety. But I know you've got lots of tips.
No, I love that. Michael Singer, like, I've never listened to him, so that would be something that I'm definitely going to jump into. YouTube, or is there a book recommendation that you have?
Yeah. He's got 3 books out now, but he's been around a long time. So the first one is, what was the first one called? It's not the Surrender Experiment. I think it was the second one, but if just look up Michael Singer and Surrender. Gosh, I should know that.
I think it's coming back now. Okay. I've got to use one of my audibles. I've got about 10 of them, so I need some good books to read lately. So I'm going to jump on and get one of his. I think that's
Read
going to
the first two. Do the first one. Do
yes.
the order, but the second one is huge bang for buck. And I'm doing the third one just at the moment because he's not long released. Yeah.
Ah, well, bless you, honey, for coming on here and sharing your expertise, your knowledge, and always giving from a place of love. I really and truly am blessed to have you in my world. So thank you for being one of those beautiful, raw, authentic people, no matter where you are in your place and in your planet and in your head, you always come to me from your heart. And I'm really grateful that we have connected, we've stayed connected, that you constantly evolve and you're always inspiring me no matter what. We've always got options.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, we
Absolutely.
always have options. So thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to the next one because I definitely think there's so many topics that we could go into depth about because there's a lot of information out there that is, well, one, it's mainstream media. And also, two, people don't know what they don't know.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely know. And just talking to you today has given me a little bit of food for thought about something, maybe a little bit more, not a little bit more, but quite exciting that maybe we could do. That I'd like to get some feedback from.
Write it down. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, giving you big hugs, beautiful. Nice to see you and nice to connect.
Nice to
See you, honey.
Bye.